Welcome to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for an abbreviated Suzette Veneti Show. So please welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti.
Hi everybody, it's 5:03. It's Sunday, March 28th, and that means it's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. It also means if you have plans for April Fools, just don't. Nobody likes it. It's lame. Sorry to let you know that. Nobody likes April Fools. Okay, cool. It is an abbreviated Suzette Veneti Show. This would have been the 49th episode. I don't know if we'll call it that, maybe 48 and a half. We had a guest with an infection who had to cancel, not COVID, just like an eye infection. So no big deal. But also all the contributors called out because they had lives, except David Shapiro. He's here because he has no life. But before we get to him, the big ship, the Ever Given, that's in the Suez Canal, and it's stuck, and they can't get it out, and it's stuck, and it's too big for the passageway, and there's no I just want to say, Ever Given, girl, we've all been there. Just get yourself a pair of Spanx, you'll slip right through. There was flooding in Australia, and a lot of Americans were sharing the video of it because spiders were fleeing the flooding because spiders don't swim and they don't like water. And a lot of Americans on Facebook were like, ooh, I would burn my house if I saw spiders. And then the Australians were like, oh, that's funny because I would burn my house if there were lots of Americans in it. Prince Harry got a job for millions of dollars. Good for him, but also I want that. And then there's a dangerous cheese. Sorry, just reading news. And then also the new voting laws in Georgia. Fuck all that mess. And with that, we're just going to get right to the one contributor we have for the day. David Shapiro, you have no life, but thank you for being here. You're so kind. How are you?
How are you?
Oh, I'm well. Thank you.
Oh.
You?
Good. I will say good and not talk any smack about you. I want to apologize for the bing, 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 bong last week at the end of my segment. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. I use an old phone to film. So that's the thing. I'm not cool. I'm not getting a lot of notifications all at once because I'm popular. No. I use an older phone to zoom into things so I can have my phone. And I think I get better phone picture and sound quality than a laptop. Yeah. So when I use this old phone, all the notifications come in at once that have not, it's like a hose, kinked, and then open it, and then bing, 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 bong. Anyway, let's talk Passover. It is Passover now. It has started, and it is my favorite holiday of all holidays. Not just of the Jewish holidays, of all the holidays. Even though we've talked about Purim on your show, which is a really cool holiday, and we've certainly talked about Hanukkah, which everyone thinks is the Jewish holiday. It's not. We've talked about that. Now, you know all this, right? Mm-hmm. Because you were married to a Jew, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So, for your viewers, Passover, phenomenal holiday. Full of tradition, right? Full of delightful food. Really good story. Some good heroes in it. Yeah, I think it's not Purim, but it's my favorite holiday because of all the tradition. I thought I saw a spider, a big spider, sorry. I'm not scared of them. I was just like, well, how did that one get in here, and are his feet clean? That was my concern as a germaphobe. I'm gotta clean his feet before he walks around anymore. It's not. It's a laptop cable. Right, Passover. Mm-hmm. So, back in 1772, the Jews were enslaved by the Egyptians, and the Egyptians were like, build the pyramid and build the Sphinx, and build the Sphinx and build another pyramid and then 7 more pyramids, and we own you. And the Jews were like, this sucks. Like, people have tried to kill us before, but, like, we don't do manual labor. It's against our code. And the Egyptians were like, you do now. And the Jews were like, this is the worst. They knew they were going to get out of it, but they didn't know how they were going to get out of it, right? This is the part where most people know. There was a baby, and he was floated in a basket up the Nile, and his name was Moses, and then a princess found him, and he was raised in the Pharaoh's court, and then he was like, I'm Jewish, and then he went up to Mount Sinai, and God was like, go, Moses, free my people, and Moses was like, he stuttered a lot, which I am not going to make fun of that, but he stuttered a lot, and that's why Aaron, his brother, was his spokesperson. For this, you should probably go talk to Nina G and discuss Moses and his stuttering with her. But Moses came down, and he basically said to the Pharaoh through Aaron, let my people go. Everyone knows this. Way down, Moses, let my people go. That's about the Jews. We're the people that want to be let go, because we didn't like building things. We don't build. Look, Jesus built the things, and it didn't end well for him. And we built the pyramids, and we've never built anything since, right? Like, we don't build, like, we burnt ourselves out on the pyramids. We don't build things. That is an Amish thing, not a Jewish thing. Wrong-ish. Anyhow, I digress. Moses was like, let my people go, and the Pharaoh was like, ha 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 ha, free labor, no. And Moses was like, all right, bap, plague. And there was I forget what the first plague was. But, the plagues were like locusts and your boils, I think, was a plague, and frogs. Frogs was a plague. And your neighbors bringing over potato salad with raisins. I believe that was like the 7th plague. So there were all these plagues. And the whole time, the Egyptians were like, fucking get them out. Like, we hate this potato salad with raisin. Get the Jews out. And the Pharaoh was like, no, I'm not gonna succumb, because I have my gods, and that Jewish god is puny, and I'm not dealing with the puny god. He was a forebearer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, apparently. And then God put down like the hammer of plagues and was like, death to the firstborn sons, unless you have ram's blood upon your door, right? Now that was where things got serious, because people died, allegedly, during the plagues. If any of this actually happened, or something happened and somebody elaborated, grandly. But allegedly what happened is the firstborn of every family died, unless you painted ram's blood upon your door to say, here lies, or here lives, the chosen of God. That'd be us, chosen to suffer for 6,000 years, but this one time get freed. And people died. And then the Pharaoh was like, ugh, fine. I think he had his son. And he was like, go, get out of here. Your God's not puny. He fucked my day up. Be gone. So the Jews were like, wee, we're free. Except that guy in the back. He was like, it's me, I'm free. Sorry, I had to. And so, woohoo! There was a Jew in the back with a mustache, and he was like, woohoo, we're free. So they fled, right? On foot, because that's what they had. They didn't have anything. And they left so fast. They were like, get out of here. And like a bunch of them were like cooking, and they were like, but we're making bread. And they were like, fuck the bread, get out of here before the Pharaoh he's gonna change his mind, go away. And so they were like, matzah. I should have matzah in my, you know what, we'll talk in a second, I'll go get a matzah box. So they ran, and they took their unleavened bread. That's what became matzah, right? The crackers that like Gentiles are like, what is that curious thing? Matzah crackers is what that is. It's made out of matzah meal, no yeast, unleavened bread. It's delicious. Put a little bit of butter on it, put some corned beef between it, make a little sandwich. Delightful. Anyway, that's how I do it. Some people do applesauce. I don't believe in applesauce. I have problems with the definition of that being a sauce. So anyhow, digress. Back to the Jews fleeing, and so they're like, we gotta go. So they grab their unleavened bread, they grab all their stuff, they grab their firstborns because they have them. Ha 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 ha. We use ram's blood, and God liked us for once. So that's a humble brag right there. So they're fleeing, and they get to a sea. I don't know which one. It's so confusing. They get to the sea, right?
The Red Sea.
And now, most Jews were not a seafaring people. You've never heard of a famous Jewish pirate. I'm sure there was one, Goldbeard. But we don't. Mark Spitz, that's one. The exception that proved the rule. The rest of us, we're like, water. We're like cats. We don't like water particularly. Shower, yes. Swim and be in the ocean, nah, not our bag particularly. We'll live by it, but we don't want to be in it. Frizzy hair, humidity, does a lot. Don't want to get in. Anyway, so we get to the water, and Moses is like, what are we going to do? Or whatever he said, and Aaron said something, and then God was like, Moses, part the sea. And Moses, I think the Red Sea, sorry, bad, I should have prepped more for this.
No,
and God was like, yeah, I got your back. Like, you part it, and I'll do the work, but you make the big arms, and I'll make it happen, and everyone will think you're doing it, right? Because we know Moses didn't part the sea. So Moses is like, whoa, like, you can't see my arms. Whoa, part the sea. And the sea parted because God really went in and was like, and so
allegedly,
what happened then was the Jews were like, oh shit, it's dry. Go, bring the unleavened bread and the firstborns that we have and everything else. The world supply of Hollywood and gold that we're going to need in thousands of years, so people can be mad at us. So they fled across the other side, and the Egyptians pursued, right? They were like, there's no water. Go quick with your horses and your carriages, or whatever you call the war carriage. I don't know if it has another name. The war carriage. And so they went in, and then God was like, shoop! And Moses was like, oh shit, I missed my cue. So the sea closed, and then the Egyptians were and they died, like whoever pursued, because like it was a sea, right? Like allegedly. And so the Jews got away. And now they were in the desert, and they were going to the promised land. That's this whole story, right? Like, people are like, oh, that's Passover? Yeah, indeed. And so they went to the promised land. I have I don't know where it is. I have a Seder plate. We'll get to that in a second. Oh my God, we've been talking. I'm sorry. This is a long segment. I'll try to wrap it up.
That's all we have tonight.
They wandered the desert for 40 years because, in addition to not being a seafaring people, we're not quite a navigatory people. Like Lewis and Clark hit up Sacagawea for a reason, and not, Morty Silverstein, because Morty Silverstein would have had Lewis and Clark wandering around for 40 years. So the Jews wander for 40 years until they find the Promised Land, Israel. It's really like an 8-day walk. So somehow they turned 8 days into 40 years. Not our proudest moment as a people. But we got there, and we were free, and we lived happily ever after-ish until like the next group of people tried to kill us. So, how do we celebrate? We celebrate by having a Seder plate. And on the Seder plate, we have a shank of lamb to symbolize the lamb's blood. We have chroset, which is like an applesauce mixture, and that's the mortar that went in the bricks of the pyramids, I think. And then there's, what else is there? The bitter herbs for the tears that were cried. That's my favorite. The hard-boiled egg. So the Seder plate's full of meaningful items that you eat during the story, one by one by one. So Purim is like a drunken, like, whatever the fuck party. Like, yeah, we hate Haman. He sucks. Like, have fun. Passover is a little more buttoned up. I'm now rethinking if it should be my favorite holiday. It's a little more buttoned up, a little more like, let's sit here quietly and listen to this story. It doesn't really fit who I am as a person. And you eat the things as you go. There's matzah. So it's a cool holiday. It's the history of our people, and I like it. I think it's tied for my favorite holiday. Now that I've described it and changed my mind, it's still tied for my favorite. So that's the story of Passover. thank you for letting me come on and speak at length. Oh, here, you say something about Passover. I'm going to run really quick and get a box of matzahs. So, do you like Passover? Do you celebrate it? What's your favorite Jewish holiday? Discuss.
Okay. David. I do like Passover. I also like Purim. I knew about Purim.
Okay, I don't know if I care anymore because now I'm back.
Oh.
But good points. I didn't hear any of them. Great points.
I hate
We're
you.
backwards, I think, but Manischewitz matzah crackers. So if anyone has seen this in the store,
You're
this
not
is my
backwards.
people's bread. This and challah. We have two different breads. We have this very flat cracker-like bread, and then challah, which is a very voluminous, fluffy bread. So we don't. It's either 0 or 100. We don't fuck around with the middle when it comes to bread or anything really. And that's my segment, Suzette. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
You were the show
What's going on tonight? Are you going to be at Sidetracks? Wait, not Sidetracks. Sorry, Sunday Showcase is Sidetracks. It's in my head. You going to be at Badlands?
Yes.
Maybe I'll see you.
Hopefully not.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for this, and I'll see you next week. And happy Passover.
You too.
Suzette, I hope if you celebrate it, you cry bitter tears of loneliness because you're lonely. Okay. I don't know. Bye.
Okay, bye. David Shapiro, everybody. His information was below him. He's mean. And unfortunately or fortunately, that's it. That's the whole Suzette Veneti show today. 16 minutes. Thank you, I guess, to David. Thank you to Jesse. I will say 48 episodes, and this is the first time. But thank you for always letting us do the show, Jesse. I appreciate it.
Sure.
If you guys like the show, support Stab Comedy Theater. Information's above my head. There's a lineup of shows 7 days a week. And next week, we will be back with Tavi and Becky Lynn. They have a podcast together called I Can't Believe You're in My Business. I can't wait to interview them. So see you next week on April 4th. It is Easter. So do whatever you do for Easter and join us at 5:03. Thanks a lot. Bye.
The city's your playground. I watch you take a bite. At 5 a.m. roaming the streets, drunk all night. You think you're hot shit, and ooh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah.